husband's been telling his coworkers that I'm his sister. Yeah, his sister. My husband and I have been married for 3 years, no kids, a dog. I mean, life is good for us. Or so I thought life was good for us. For the past 2 years, my husband's been working at this accounting firm that he absolutely loves. He's pretty good friends with his coworkers, and sometimes after work they'll get drinks or dinner, but I've never gone. Now, people might think this is kind of weird, but it's not. I've never asked to go. I have my own friends and my own life. I like my husband to have his life and be able to do his things, and I like us to have our own independence in our marriage. Looking back now, yeah, it's weird that he never invited me, not a single time. I've met all my husband's other friends that are not work friends, and he's met all of my friends, but yeah, he never invited me to any of his work friend hangouts. I didn't realize it at the time, but this whole secret started to reveal itself over a year ago. I was out celebrating a friend's birthday without my husband, let's call him Josh, when a guy that I had never met comes up to me at the bar and is like, "Hey, it's Kels, right?" I cannot hide a single expression on my face, so the man knew I was confused because I was literally staring at him like... And that's when he was like, "Oh, I work with Josh." And that made sense. I was like, oh, actually, now that I'm like squinting my eyes and looking at him a little closer, I feel like my husband had shown me a photo of this guy before. We had a little bit of awkward small talk. I mean, I was trying to be nice. Obviously, I wanted to make a good impression. It's my husband's coworker, but also I was celebrating my friend's birthday and I wanted to go hang out with the girls. So near the end of the conversation, when it was clear that, the conversation was ending, the guy goes, "I think it's really nice how close you and Josh are. I wish my brother lived near me and we were so close." And I mean, knowing what I know now, I wish it would have set off way more alarm bells, but I was like, the guy's been drinking. He does not know what he's talking about. And like, it's just not that big of a deal. Whatever. Maybe he just has been thinking about his brother today, really wanted to talk about him with somebody. I don't know. None of my business. I guess it is my business. It was my business. I just didn't think it was. I never told Josh about this conversation. Not because I was trying to hide it, but because honestly, I forgot about it. I mean, it was a 3-minute conversation in my whole night. And when I got home from the bar, Josh was already asleep. So by the time we were talking in the morning, like it's past. The thought is past. I never really thought about it again. Here's where everything really started clicking for me. Yesterday morning, I was taking our dog Monty out for a walk. Now, Monty's a pretty unique looking dog. So, I mean, you can tell it's him. If you met the dog before, you know who he is. As we're walking past a coffee shop, this guy walks out and immediately lights up when he sees the dog. And immediately it's like, "Monty, it's so good to see you." And Monty is so excited. And immediately I'm like, oh, this must be one of Josh's coworkers because Josh actually brings Monty to the office a few times a week. So I was like, oh, this makes sense. This is how you would recognize my dog. And my dog clearly knows who you are. Then he turns to me and he's like, "You must be Kels. I've heard so much about you." And I am like, "Oh, do you work with Josh?" And I was right. He was like, "Yeah, I do." And so we have a little bit of small talk and, he's petting the dog. All's going well. But that's when he's like, "You are an incredible sister," walking Josh's dog for him. My first thought was to tell this man that I'm not Josh's sister. I'm his wife, his incredible, loving wife. But I was like, this man seems nice. I don't really need to put him in that uncomfortable position right now. And honestly, I didn't even really know how to react. So I'm just basically standing there like, what do you say back to that? I had like a million thoughts racing in my head. And this guy looks at me so confused because he's like, what is up with this girl? Like, why is she just staring at me like that? All I managed to blurt out is, yeah, he's a really good dog. Before I'm like, oh, we have to get going and just like skirt it off. Because what am I supposed to say in that moment? I tell Monty, "I'm sorry, bud, but this walk is getting cut short because I need to go contemplate my entire marriage." And the perfect time to contemplate your entire life is a walk home. So that is what I did. On this walk, a lot of things started clicking for me. Like, one is that Josh always told me that his company didn't allow +1s for holiday parties. Why did I even believe this? Every company allows +1s for holiday parties. He just was hiding me. Luckily, Josh is on a work trip for the next few days, so I can think about how I want to handle this situation because I'm floored. Do I make the mature and rational decision and talk to him about this when he gets home? Or do I make a little surprise trip to his office because I'm kind of leaning towards the latter? Now, you guys should be proud of me because I really wanted to confront him immediately, but I didn't. I held my tongue because I wanted to find evidence. My husband is the deepest sleeper in the entire world when he gets home from a work trip, so I knew that was going to be the perfect opportunity to go through all of his things. Y'all might be saying, "Kels, that was not the right way to go about this. Have some respect for his privacy." Okay, no, he lost that. He lost the opportunity of his privacy when A, he decided to marry me, becoming one. Also, two, lie about me to everybody. I opened this man's phone and started going through everything. I was going through his social media, his DMs, his photos, his notes app, his text messages, literally everything. And looks pretty clean. But if I've learned anything, it's that somebody who's being sketchy or cheating, they are going to try to find any way possible to cover their tracks. So I knew that I had to keep digging. I saw that on his phone, he had a folder titled Work. And I thought, perfect. I feel like this is exactly what I'm looking for. And in this folder, he had the Microsoft Teams app, which if y'all don't know, that is a specific app where you message and DM your coworkers. I was like, you know what? I'm reading these messages. The first thing I noticed when I opened the Microsoft Teams app is that he had a lot more one-on-one Microsoft Teams conversations with female employees than male employees. And I was like, this isn't adding up. I know that he's going to have to work with women. That's part of his job, but the ratio wasn't quite matching up for me. And as I start reading these chats, I'm getting fired up because they are not as innocent as I expected them to be. Okay, yes, I assumed they were going to be innocent because I always think the best of people, especially my husband, the man I married, but they were more flirty than I anticipated. Now, they weren't anything like egregious or totally inappropriate, but there were a lot of winky faces, okay? He was messaging these girls, flirty little jokes, little winky faces. The same kind of flirty jokes that he would text me throughout the day. But I needed more than this. I needed actual proof that Josh was lying to his coworkers that I was his sister. So that's when I just straight up go into the search field of Microsoft Teams and type in the word sister. And when I see a message pop up to that man that I ran into the bar almost a year ago, my heart dropped. The day after I met this man at the bar, he messages my husband, Josh, saying, "Hey, I met your sister at the bar last night. She's really cute. Is she single?" And my husband has the nerve to respond, "Nah, bro, she has a husband." The amount of anger that ran through my body. First of all, Josh knew a year ago about this situation where his lie could have completely crumbled, where I was put in this situation that I was confronted with this lie. Obviously, I didn't realize at that point. I wish I did, and I wish I would have had this conversation with Josh a year ago, but he knew I was put in this situation. And again, he never came clean to me or to any of his coworkers at that point. Also, the nerve of this man to tell his coworkers that I'm the one that's married. Yeah, he wants to make sure that none of them hit on me since I really am his wife. But again, he doesn't want to tell any of them that I'm his wife. Actually, disgusting. Like, not only are you lying about me that I'm your sister, but you're lying and saying I'm married to another man? Oh, but that is not all, because I saw a few months earlier that Josh sent a photo of the two of us to his entire team saying, "Me and my sis in Bali." Yeah, no, that was actually me and Josh's anniversary trip. We went on a anniversary vacation to Bali, but he told all of his coworkers it was a little family vacation. Cute, love that. Yeah, I mean, I guess it was a family vacation, like our family as husband and wife, not like, sister-brother vacation. And after reading all of this, seeing all of the proof that this man's been lying to me, sending winky faces to other women at work, I knew exactly what I was going to do. I'm going to show up to Josh's office, but I'm not going to ruin his little facade. I wouldn't want to do that to him. But I am going to tell all of his cute male coworkers that I think it's so weird how Josh lied to them and told them I had a husband. He's so protective like that. No, I am so totally single. In fact, I'm going to tell them that I've been trying to get Josh to set me up with one of his cute single coworkers since he started working there. And he never wanted to, so now I had to come down to the office and find a man for myself. The day starts out like any other. Josh wakes up. I'm still sleeping, okay? I like to sleep in. He gives me a kiss good morning, gets ready, and then leaves for work with our dog, Monty. He thought it was just going to be a normal day. Little did he know I had other plans. Yeah, I was not sleeping in that day. I got right out of bed as soon as he left. And I go all out with this plan, okay? I wear the cutest little sundress. I do my makeup and hair super nice, put little bows in my hair, and I bake brownies because obviously I could not show up at the office empty-handed. I was so confident about wanting to go through with this plan up until I got to the doors of the office. I started getting nervous. I was like, this is kind of crazy. Kelsey, you are doing the most right now. But then I remembered how I felt going through the Microsoft Teams messages. And I was like, you know what? No, this is perfect. I'm doing it. This is when I ran into my first problem that I did not foresee with this plan. And that's that his building has security downstairs. So I can't just get up to the floor that he works on. So I make my way to the little security desk. And I was like, hey, how are you? I kid you not. This woman looks at me and says, "Oh my gosh, you're Josh's sister, right? He just showed me photos of y'all in Bali." Not only is the man lying to his coworkers, he's also lying to building security. So that's great for me. I mean, I guess it ended up kind of working out for the best for me because she let me right up. She said, "Okay, have a good time. Tell him I say hi." I'm like, "I will. I'll tell him you said hi." So I take the elevator to his floor, and that's when I get to problem number 2. I look at these giant double doors in front of me that open to his office, and I realize I have no idea where my husband sits. Again, I've never been to his office before, and the place looks huge. It actually spans multiple floors, so they just sent me to the lobby level, and I was lost. Luckily, the reception recognized me as Josh's sister, so she knew exactly where to send me. And any of the doubt that I had about surprising him and showing up at his office unannounced, yeah, that was gone after those last 2 interactions. I was ready. I turn the corner and I see him immediately, my little snake of a husband, with a very beautiful woman draped across his desk. Okay, she was not like draped across his desk, but you know how there's like the sides of the desk that come up, they're a little higher than the rest of the desk? Yeah, she had her arms on there, leaning over, seeing what he was doing, laughing at something. I don't know, he's not that funny, okay? I laugh because I'm his wife and I kind of half laugh at his jokes. He's not that funny, girly. And this girl's actually the first person that notices me because Josh's back is to me. She looks at me and her face lights up. She's like, "Oh my gosh, Joshy, look who's here." Joshy? Joshy? He swivels around in his little rolly chair, and the look on his face, he's just giggling. It's like he's at a sorority fraternity mixer. He is just live, laugh, loving until he sees it's me. All the color drained from his face immediately. He looked like he was actually about to projectile vomit. At this point, he has no idea that I know about his little lie, so he thinks I'm about to find out and there's about to be a huge fight. But little does he know, I know everything, okay? He's playing checkers, I'm playing chess. I go up to the girl that's standing at his desk, literally looks like Meghan Markle, Rachel from Suits. Beautiful, okay? Which made it even worse. And I stick my hand right out to introduce myself. I say, "Hey, I'm Kels. I'm Josh's sister." The look on Josh's face, obviously I do a little side eye. I'm like, I want to see his reaction. He actually, I'm surprised he didn't pass out. He looked unwell. And Meghan Markle over here, she's fine. She doesn't see anything out of the ordinary. She thinks that I'm Josh's sister. So me introducing myself as Josh's sister, yeah, that's what was expected. At this point, Josh knows his little secret is exposed. So he's like, "Hey, Kels, can I talk to you for a minute? Like over here." And I was like, "What? Slow down, speed racer." And at that point, a group of his male coworkers were all coming back from lunch, chatting, laughing. This was when I was going to make my move. I was like, "Josh, I've been telling you forever to set me up with one of your cute coworkers. There's so many of them. You're telling me not one of them is single?" And one of the other guys like, "We're actually all single." And the guys immediately, they're like flustered, right? So I hand one of them the brownies. I'm like, "I made these for you." He literally can't even form words. I do not know if these men have ever had a woman flirt with them because they were just really baffled. I noticed that one of the guys in the group that walked back from lunch was actually the guy that I met in the bar a year earlier. So I immediately turned to him and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, we've met, right?" And let me tell you, I am being flirty. You know how girls use their eyes to flirt? I'm doing it. I'm pulling out all the stops. I didn't flirt with a man in so long. I'm a married woman. But listen, I remember. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I told Josh I thought you were so cute, but he told me that you had a girlfriend." And he immediately was like, "No, I've had a girlfriend in like 3 years. What the heck, Josh?" And I was like, "Oh my Josh," he's so protective like that. And that's when the guy's like, "Well, yeah, he told me that you were married." And I do like the most convincing fake laugh of my entire life. I'm like, that is so Josh. He's just the most protective brother ever. I was like, I'm so happy that I finally just came in myself and met you all because you are so much cuter in person than in the photos that Josh has shown me of y'all. Josh's face is noticeably red at this point, and his coworkers start noticing and they all start making fun of him. They're like, "Oh, what? Are you getting mad that we're hitting on your sister?" Like poking fun at him. And they were like, "Oh, here, like, Kels, give us your number. Give us your number." Thinking that, you know, they're not hitting on his wife. They think that they're just hitting on his sister. So Josh is in this position of like, do I come clean right now? That's the only way they're going to stop hitting on my wife. But he didn't. He stayed dead silent. And he watched me put my phone number in all 5 of those boys' phones. After I finished putting my numbers in their phone, I'm like, "Okay, boys, I was just popping in. I actually have to go now, but it was so nice meeting you." Again, they're all like bumbling with their words. I don't think that they've ever had a woman, you know, come into their office and flirt with them like that. So they were pretty taken aback. And I start walking towards the elevator. Josh starts just chasing after me. He's like tripping over himself, looks like an idiot. And when we get to the elevators, he's like, Kels, wait. I turn around, I look at him, and I go, leave me be. I need space right now. And he knows me, and he knows that that was definitely the best choice. I didn't want to talk to him. I really needed to process what just happened. Who was this Meghan Markle character? Okay, never seen her in any of the photos. So now I'm waiting for Josh's workday to end so that we can have a little conversation about everything that's transpired and about how the lie, yeah, it's not a secret anymore. You know, if I don't have a husband after this conversation, at least I have 5 potential dates.
About how my ex-best friend is trying to take me to court over Taylor Swift tickets. So me and this girl stopped being friends around junior year prom. We were really close before that, but then things happened and we just stopped being friends, but that's like not important. But back last year when we were still friends, I got tickets to the Eras Tour in Indianapolis, and I decided to take her because I was under the impression that she was a bit of a Swiftie. If you can't tell, I'm a pretty big Swiftie, so I decided to try to get Eras Tour Indy tickets, and I ended up getting them, and I could not take this particular friend with me to the Eras Tour the first time that I went because it, like, conflicted with something she already had going on. So I was like, okay, let me bring her with me this time because I have an extra ticket. So literally right after I offer her this ticket and give this ticket to her, I find out that she doesn't even like Taylor Swift. Like, my other friend asks her what song she knows, and she's like, oh, I know Shake It Off. And that friend was like, oh, well, maybe you should try learning, like, the other songs on set list to make it more fun. She's like, no, I don't want to do that. But whatever, like, that's not a big deal at all. Like, I can still take her. She's still my friend. And then we have a falling out. Directly after we have a falling out, we have to go on a school trip in the room together. It's her, me, my other friend, and then this other girl. And I have a Swiftie makeup pouch that my boyfriend got me for Christmas. It is literally one of my favorite things I own. I think it's so cute. And I brought it with me, and it was sitting in our bathroom. So my ex-best friend snaps a picture of my makeup pouch and sends it to, like, one of her friends or something, and is like, oh my god, like, look what's in our room, like, look how weird this is, like, I can't believe this is in our room. And first of all, so rude. And I found this out from one of my, like, friends, so thank you for telling me this. But yeah, and this is also not the first time she's made fun of Taylor Swift. Her, like, chorus teacher or something put up, like, a Taylor Swift poster in their classroom, and she threw, like, a fit about. She's like, oh my god, take that down, like, that's so weird, take it down. So to me, it's clear that she doesn't like Taylor, so I'm like, okay, she most definitely won't want to go to this tour anymore with me, right? Wrong. Send her this long paragraph basically detailing how I'm not comfortable taking her with me and staying next to her, like, we don't like each other, we have beef, and that she doesn't even like Taylor Swift, and I'm just not comfortable taking her with me because there was other stuff that went down, but, like, I'm not going to talk about that because it's not important. And she responds with, it's my ticket, I'm going. No, that's not how that works. It's my ticket, it's under my name in my Ticketmaster. Her mom had paid my mom for the ticket at this point, and my mom paid her back. She actually paid her more money than she originally gave me. She gave me $195, my mom paid her back $200, and she sent the money back and said, I'm not accepting this refund. She's going to that concert. And then yesterday, I got the cute little letter in the mail basically saying that we have to go to court, and yeah, they're taking us to court, and they either want the ticket or they want $2,500. So that's the fun little situation I'm in right now. Maybe I'll have an update eventually. I don't know. Also, like, any advice would be appreciated. Like, was I just absolutely the asshole for this situation? Or, like, is there anything I can do to, like, fix this? Or, like, what should I do? I don't know. Most definitely just the most underwhelming update ever, but we ended up just transferring her the ticket. So, yeah, I'm gonna explain why. So, as much as I wanted to go into court and have, like, this huge case and stuff and win and be like, haha, like, I won, I'm going into my senior year of high school this week, and I do not need the stress of having a court case, like, looming over my head. And yeah, there's always a chance that we could lose. It honestly could go either way. It would be just how the judge sees it. and we would have to pay like court fees and stuff, and at that point, like, it just wouldn't be worth it. Like, I'm petty, but I'm not that petty to the point where I'm gonna drag this out even longer than it has to be dragged out. So yeah, and she's probably gonna end up selling it anyways, which I kind of hope she does, because I don't want to be next to her the whole concert after this. So
my boyfriend cheated on me, so I decided to get with his brother and his best friend at the same time. Story time. So I've been dating this guy who we'll call Steve for about 2 years. The first year was absolute magic. It was all love, rose petals. He'd buy me anything and everything I wanted. But a few months after our 1-year anniversary, things began to change a little bit with Steve. He would ask me to pay for certain things. He'd ask me to pay for the bill, theme park tickets, cinema ticket. Now, nothing had changed with his financial situation at this time. I was a bit confused as to why we couldn't afford things. Then things got really weird. One time I tried to give him just a little peck on the cheek, a little hug, and this man started slut shaming me. And I was getting seriously concerned. So I decided it's time to go through his phone. I'm seeing messages from a whole host of girls. Not one, not two, not three, but 4 of them. I decided I was gonna play this really cool. I didn't want anyone to know that I knew his antics. So one day, Steve goes to work, and randomly, Steve's brother and his best mate turn up. This was my time, right? I was offered a situation and I took it. I knew that Steve would be home from work in about an hour or 2. So I invite them to stay around for tea. I start flirting with his best friend, Dave. I start flirting with his brother, Alan. Now, don't get me wrong, they were enjoying my attention. The original plan was to just flirt with them in front of Steve and really get him riled up over the situation. But then his brother starts getting a little bit handsy. I'm thinking, I could take this all the way. I have Steve's location right. It takes him 20 minutes to get home. At this moment, I'm sat on the sofa, Dave's on one side, Alan is on the other. I'm tracking where Steve is. He's 5 minutes away. It's game time, bitches. This whole time, Dave had his hand on my leg. Alan had his arm around me. I knew they wanted a piece of me. We all start kissing, right? Just in time for Steve to walk through the door. Steve walks in from a hard day at work, and he sees me kissing and cuddling with his best friend and his brother. The look of confusion on his face is something that I will never ever forget. It brings me great pride. He says, what the hell is going on in here? I reply, well, at least I'm only cheating on you with 2 people. Guess I've got another 2 to go before I make up my quota. Safe to say, I haven't seen Steve, Alan or Dave since that day. Which is a shame because I really wanted to tell Steve that his best friend and brother was so much better than him. Billy, you are savage. Thank you so much for sending your stories in, guys. If you do have a little juicy story like this one, please make sure you fill out the little form in my bio. I'll read through every single one of them, and the best of the best will get told on my page.
Am I the astronaut for not wanting my mother-in-law to be in the hospital room when I give birth to my daughter? I, 22 female, am due to give birth to my husband, 28 male, and I's daughter in about 2 weeks. A few days ago, we were discussing birth plans and the topic of who will be in the room came up. He said exactly this. Your mom, your sister probably, Ava, my best friend, and obviously my mom will be in the room, right? This caught me off guard since we had spoken about it at an earlier time, but I just corrected him because I thought he might have forgotten. So I said, actually, I would prefer it if she wasn't in the room during the birth, but I don't mind if she comes in to visit before the birth and after the birth. He immediately got upset and said, so you get to have family in the room, but I don't. It's my baby too. I explained again that any of his family are more than welcome to visit before and after the birth, but I prefer to not be spread eagle in front of his family. I especially don't feel comfortable with his mom being there at all because she had shamed me and judged me during my entire pregnancy, but I was willing to compromise so he doesn't feel like he can't have any family there. He still wasn't listening to me and started to get mad and yell at me. He was really set on the fact that it's his baby too, which I already know, but like I said, I just don't want them there during the birth. I don't mind before and after. He is still upset about this and has been avoiding me since this argument, and will only talk to me in the morning when I make us breakfast. I'm afraid of when I have the baby that he won't accept my wishes and still let her into the room, or worse, he just won't show up at all. Am I the astronaut for this? Yeah.
I'll have to do a story time on the treatment and everything like that we did and what went down that way. But for now, I just want to catch you up on the past couple of weeks. So I am sick. I've been pretty sick, I feel like, which is why I feel like I've not been able to like post. And when I'm not sick, I'm super tired, which is very common in early pregnancies. Didn't know if I'd be more sick or less sick than I was with Hudson. I feel like it's just a different sick. Like I feel just very nauseous all the time where I just like want to sleep it off because there's nothing else that will work for it. So it's been completely different because with Hudson, it was a whole other whirlwind. So overall, honestly, this pregnancy has been quite different than Hudson's. Different cravings. My skin's been very different with Hudson. I had really, really, really bad acne, like very bad. With this, I have breakouts, which I think is common, but nothing like how it was with Hudson. It was insane. It was like on my back. It was everywhere. So I haven't had that this time. And the nausea's been, I would say, more intense than with Hudson, but with Hudson, I was like constantly in the bathroom. It was just, yeah. Mention, I am showing way faster this pregnancy than I was with Hudson, which makes sense. It's my second, and we did do fertility treatment, so obviously that's gonna mess with the hormones and make things go faster. But I literally look 20 weeks pregnant. Like, I compared the pictures. I was like, at 20 weeks pregnant with Hudson, that's how I look right now at 11 weeks. It's been so crazy to see my body change so fast, but honestly, it's been so fun, and I'm so grateful for it. It's been hard to hide. I'm not even gonna lie. When I go out, I'm like, everyone that sees me knows I'm pregnant, and my face looks pregnant. Like, it's already so swollen. I will say that with Hudson's pregnancy as well, like my face just swells. It swells when I'm on my period. It swells when I'm in my luteal phase. The first place that's going to show is always going to be my face. So my face is definitely already fuller. I got the pregnancy look, and I did with Hudson get like the pregnancy nose. So I would not be surprised if I get the pregnancy nose with this one either. At this point, I do not know the gender. I just did the blood test to know the gender today. It was my first official like OB appointment today. And so I should know by next week sometime. But I have no idea if it's a boy or girl, because you can have the same gender in completely different pregnancies, or it could be like completely different because the gender's different. So no idea. Honestly, I would love to see what you guys could guess, or like see what you guys think. I think that'd be so fun, just because I cannot figure it out. With Hudson, I knew it was a boy. Like, I walked in being like, if this says girl, like I will be shocked. And with this one, I have no idea. So I would love to know what you guys think. And this time has also just been so different because we were at a fertility clinic. So I actually had ultrasound from 5, 6, 7, like all the way up until 10 weeks. And then I graduated the clinic once everything looked good. And that's why I had my first OB appointment today. And then I'll go back when I'm like 16 weeks. At first, I thought the gap wouldn't bug me, but now I'm realizing like it was so fun to get to see the little baby week by week. And now it's definitely going to be a pretty big pause. It's still so fun because when I go back, the baby will be like triple the size, or just like way bigger and way more developed, and it's just so much fun to see like the growth. But I guess I'll tell the story. So we ended up doing an IUI, and I did not think it would take the first round. My doctor was very clear, like it takes about 3 or 4 rounds usually for an IUI to work, if it's going to work. So we went in I don't remember what day, like back in May for our first IUI, and I'll have to share the process of that. But the day that we did it, we literally left Lake Powell that day, and then we spent the week in Lake Powell, and I was just like, it could have worked, it could have not, but I wasn't like too confident in it. Preparing myself that it's gonna take longer. It's very rare that it would take on the first try. So I go throughout my day, and about a week and a half later, I go to my hair appointment, and I am feeling a type of way. I'm having hot flashes. I'm like, I want to throw up, but I'm like, this is way too early. It's only like 10 days after my IUI. Like, there's no way. I'm already having symptoms. There's just no way. But I did go home and take a pregnancy test because I said, I feel like I could be because of the symptoms, but maybe I'm making it up. Maybe it's just my hormones being crazy from all of the things I had to do in my body. And sure enough, I go home. You guys will have seen by now. And I took a pregnancy test, just me, and I said, there's literally no way that this says positive. And it was the faintest, tiniest line, but I still couldn't believe it. Like, I have not been able to process a lot, I feel like, so far, but it was so faint. So I grabbed Jake. I'm like, do you see this? Am I like making this up in my brain? And he's like, I see it, but it's so faint. Like, I don't know. And I was like, you're right. So I took a test like every day to see if the line would stay the same, if it faint, like would go more faint, like if maybe it was like a chemical pregnancy. I just was not sure. The time I was so new, and I said, okay, I need to stop because I have an appointment in a couple days to get my blood drawn, and that will like really tell me. So I go get my blood drawn, and sure enough, there's HCG in my blood, but it's very low. So they're like, we want to monitor you. We'll have you come back in 2 days and see if it doubles. So I went back in 2 days, and it grew, but it did not double. And I was just a mess because I was like, okay, it's okay. If this one doesn't end up sticking at this point, because it's our first try. Like, I don't know what to expect. So I had to go in every 2 days from there to see if it was growing or doubling for like 2 weeks. Just getting poked every which way, and it was growing, and some days it would double and some days it would just grow. Like, it was very kind of all over the place, which I don't know if it's on my TikTok, I was like, this has been a roller coaster. It was kind of around this time. So finally they got me in for an ultrasound because they're like, we'd love to come see you and just make sure the pregnancy's in the right place. Like, it's not ectopic, because sometimes lower levels can mean that. We're really going into depth here, but I went for my first ultrasound at like 5.5 weeks. And sure enough, the baby was in the right spot. And so I felt very relieved, but at the same time, I wasn't quite ready to process it yet, because they did tell me, they're like, at this point, we would just want to call this an early pregnancy, not like a successful pregnancy, because they wanted to make sure the baby was growing correctly because of the levels. So we're like, we want to see you back in a week again. And I said, perfect, great. And I just didn't know how to feel, because I was like, I knew there was like a little baby in there, but I didn't know if it was going to stick around, which is a very just weird, hard feeling to try to process. So the next week went by and we go back, and sure enough, I had grown. But again, they're like, still so early. Let's see you next week, and then we can really decide if we should get a little bit more excited. So I go back in. It's a whole story. We go back in at 7 weeks. Baby's growing, looking great. And they're like, honestly, like, this is looking really good. We'll see you again in 2 weeks. And if everything looks good, like, you'll graduate, and congratulations. And I was like, thank you. But again, I still just did not know how to feel, because I'm like, until I graduate, I don't know. I feel like you feel this way your whole pregnancy. You're like, until the baby's here, you just worry. So then during those 2 weeks is when we were on Lake Powell, and when we were in our boating accident. And so the day before I was supposed to have my ultrasound anyway, we were in a boating accident. I did not tell any of the EMTs or any of the life flights or anyone that I was pregnant. I just kind of kept it to myself, because I knew if I told them, they'd make me get on the life flight, and I really just wanted to be with Hudson. But of course I was worried, like, is everything okay? However, I was in the best spot in the crash because I was behind the driver's seat. So I literally fell into like a comfy seat. It was another blessing that I can now share. So the next day I go in and tell them what happened, and they're like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. We did an ultrasound and the baby looked great. The only thing was maybe there was a little bleed in there. So I was put on like rest for a full week, which after the accident, we spent a lot of time together and just downtime anyway. So it ended up working out that it was a good time to rest. So I rested for a full week and then went back 1 more week. The bleed was gone. I graduated. Had my OB appointment the next week, so we're finally here. And I just feel like that's why I can't believe we're doing this. I had an ultrasound today, and I got to see the baby again today, and baby's just growing and wiggling and giggling, and I'm so excited. I literally will cry if I really think about it. So I am so excited that you guys finally know now, and we can do this like little pregnancy journey together. I'm so excited. We are taking pictures like up in the mountain area for our baby announcement photos. And I'm really excited. My dress is right there. We're all packed up because Hudson actually has a t-ball game. Jake is the coach. It's the cutest thing. So we have to hit the t-ball game, t-ball practice. Y'all, pregnancy brain is here. T-ball practice, then go right from T-ball practice to our photos, and then we are leaving tonight to a fun little concert. So back to back, but I am so excited. And I can't wait to see how these pictures turn out. I feel like it's going to just be good. I went on like more casual kind of, I just have like a cream long dress that will show the bum. Also, side note, that's why I dyed my hair dark. I literally dyed my hair dark because I said, with Hudson, my hair thrived, and I'm like, if I can have my hair thrive this pregnancy and just grow it and make it healthy, like, that's the goal. But then again, I was also like, I actually really love it dark. And then you guys were so sweet about it being dark, so I said, maybe it's here to stay. So just so many fun things, so many things to plan for. I am due February-ish, so I can't wait. I can't wait to meet this little baby and to grow and to celebrate with you guys. And just thank you for being here with me on my journey. And now I gotta go take the pictures so I can tell you all. So I will see you guys later.
Am I the asshole for walking out of the bridal salon when I found out my friends were making fun of me behind my back? I have 2 friends, Gabby and Shelly. All of us are 23, if that matters. We were roommates in college and stayed in the same city after graduation. While the 3 of us are close, I've always known that Gabby and Shelly are closer. They have a really sweet friendship. Shelly is getting married, Gabby is the maid of honor, and I'm one of the bridesmaids. Over the weekend, I went with Shelly so she could look at wedding dresses. Gabby was supposed to come with us, but got called into work last minute. I helped Shelly pick out some dresses. Then she went with a consultant to try them on. Shelly asked that I take pictures and videos on her phone to send to her mom and Gabby. I was getting the camera ready when a text from Gabby came through. I didn't mean to click on it and was instantly going to click back out when I saw one of my Instagram pictures in their private chat from earlier that morning. Both were making fun of me for the face I was making and my outfit choice. It didn't appear to be in very good nature. I admit, curiosity got the best of me, so I searched my name in the chat. I found multiple pictures that I, my boyfriend, or my mom have posted of myself, absolutely ripping them to shreds.
Stop.
Ranging from selfies to pose shots to even a few baby pictures. They'd also make fun of me in general terms of the way I talked, wore my hair, the way I ate. This went back as far as I could tell, at least a year. My heart broke. It all felt so juvenile in high school. While we all joke around, I would never do this to them, nor have they ever even tried to instigate these types of conversations with me about the other one-on-one. I was in tears. As someone who was bullied all through middle and high school, it just brought me back to a horrible place. I put the phone in Shelly's purse and brought it to another employee, telling her to tell Shelly that I had to go. I drove home and had a long cry. Shelly texted me by the time I made it home asking where I went. I said I was going home and we could talk later. When she did call a few hours later, she was understandably confused and hurt that I had left. I told her what I found, explaining I only looked further because of the initial text I accidentally saw. She went off on me for looking through her private texts and said those were none of my business.
Oh my God.
She also told me I shouldn't have left the store without saying anything. I said I didn't want to make a scene, but also knew I couldn't fake being happy for her.
No.
Shelly told me the texts were all in good fun, and clearly she loves me because I'm going to be her bridesmaid. She added that I'm only hurt because I chose to read all of those texts. Later on, Gabby called to tell me that I invaded Shelly's privacy and hurt her by walking out. My boyfriend and mom think I did the right thing by walking out, but obviously they're a little biased. I just want some unbiased looks. Was I an asshole to look through the texts and then leave?
This is the story about a random man who thought he could be a cheater and thought that I wouldn't tell his girlfriend about him. Okay, so a few months ago, I was going to Mexico with my friend and we were at the airport on the plane. The man behind us was staring at me a little bit, but I honestly thought it was just because I was making TikToks in public and like valid reason to stare. However, he was also there with this baddie of a woman and a child. Halfway through the flight, the woman gets up to go to the bathroom. I obviously don't think anything of it. She's going to the bathroom. And then I get a little tap on my shoulder and I'm like, yeah? And then in between the seats, he shows me his phone with a text in it. He's giving me these weird eyes and I'm reading the note and it says something along the lines of, please do not say anything out loud, but I think you're really pretty, like I want to talk to you. With your literal child sitting beside you? I literally look at it, I look at him and I'm like, no. You're here with a woman and a child. And then he holds up it again and he's like, did you read it? I'm like, yeah. If there's one thing in the world that makes me like, ugh, it's being a weird, sus, rat cheater. Then the girl comes back from the bathroom and the guy acts like he's never talked to me, didn't say anything to me. So I'm now sitting there and I'm adding the pieces together. Like he waited until the girl was gone. He typed it in his phone, asked me not to say anything out loud. He's a rodent. My head immediately goes to, I need to tell the girl. Because if I was the girl in this situation, somebody better tell me. We get off the flight, we're waiting for our luggage, and he's trying to act like he's boyfriend of the year, being so attentive to her, but I know what you're doing. He goes to grab the luggage, and she's finally free by herself, okay? So I walk over there. Let me just tell you, this girl is a baddie, okay? She's the kind of girl you see in public, and you're like, whoa. I went up to her, I said, is that your boyfriend? She said yes, and I told her exactly what happened, exactly what he said. She turns to me and is like, so do you want me to cuss him out before you leave or after you leave? I was like, after I leave. I don't know exactly what happened. She obviously waited for me to be gone to talk to him about it, but I am just hoping she is fucking thriving now.
My mom is an influencer and I hate her for it. My mom, 45 female, has become a Facebook influencer. I, 16 female, used to not care when she took pictures, but it's gotten crazy. Everything she does is now posted or live streamed online. Even if we're somewhere where it says don't photograph or film, she'd find a way to film it. It was annoying at first, but now it's downright frustrating, especially since 3 months ago when she got really into it. I declined my 16th birthday party, so she threw a giant party claiming it was for her anniversary, my brother's graduation, and my birthday. There were 150 guests, and between my dad, my brother, and myself, we only covered 30 of them. I don't even know how much of that party she wasn't on her screen for, since she was constantly filming and uploading it, along with a lot of her friends. I really wanted to perform there. I practiced for months, but the idea of her filming and uploading it made me so nervous I backed down. I don't like being photographed or filmed. Even as a kid, I didn't. Another time we went on vacation and every second it was filmed. When we got to the hotel, we weren't allowed in until she recorded the room, even if we just drove 8 hours and wanted to sleep. She'd take her time in areas she could photograph, even if it was a rock. But when me, my dad, and brother tried to enjoy a non-aesthetic place, I felt rushed and like she just wanted to go. If we got food, she didn't let us eat or move the food until photos and videos were taken, even having us pose with the food or announce what it is. That one annoyed me. One time we traveled by car and it was over 10 hours since we ate. When we got a chance to eat dinner, she took my food before I got a chance and was recording it and saying things like, ooh, how delicious. And I was so tired and hungry, I just gave up and started tearing up. On the vacation, we went on a boat, but she was live streaming. She was calling out followers, thanking them and saying how much she loved them all. The boat was going to check out Alcatraz, and I thought it was so disrespectful, especially because it was a public area and not everyone wants to be filmed. And also the history of the island makes me feel like it needs to be respected and not treated as a background to a video. One thing that made me want to write this post was because I was trying to get a drink out of a soda machine. She had me pour out the ice from the cup so she could record me doing it for a shot. I have a certain ice to soda ratio I like, and it was perfect the first time. After that, I didn't get it correct, and it was just a damper on an already not so great day. After that, she held my soda and was showing it off to the camera, and I just had to wait until she was done. Another thing is I've started to envy her followers. She gives them so much more attention than me. She was off on my dad about how much closer I am with him than her, but I asked to watch a movie with her and she declines. Her reasoning is always that she has a live stream later she's hosting, or a video to film, or her followers are live. She's turned me down so many times I stopped even trying to hang out with her, since if I do get her around, she's on her phone. One time I asked for her opinion and she snapped that she was tired from her job and that she needed time to post. She live streams so much that I sometimes have to skip meals because she can't have the background noise, and she live streams in the middle of the kitchen. She'll stream for hours, and if she had any issues with the internet, she makes everyone power down their devices so she can get a better connection. The most attention she's given me recently was recorded. I was in a dance class and the only time she looked at me was when she was recording what I was doing. The instructor praised me to them for my work multiple times and she didn't even notice. I checked and she was watching the live stream. I feel like I'm going crazy. When she posts about me, I feel exposed, like I have no control. My dad keeps saying she views the world through lens, and I have no clue if this is how parents are nowadays, but it's terrible. I'm so sorry if anyone else has to grow up like this.
My husband is currently on vacation with his mistress, and I'm gonna confront them. My husband's always had a lot of work trips. Little did I know that work trips were code for an excuse he can use to go see his married coworker halfway across the country without his wife finding out. I wish I could say the way I found out about his affair was that I did some super sleuthing. No, my husband is just an idiot. Last month, my husband sent me a screenshot of an Amazon order he placed for new clothes for himself, and at the very bottom of the screenshot, I saw that there was an order for women's clothes that were not my style. And when I looked at the name of who it was being sent to, I saw that it was his work wife. Something did not sit right with me about that. So I immediately went and checked his email and his search history, and it was right there, laid out in front of me, the entire affair. That November leadership conference he was supposed to go to for his job, yeah, no, that was a romantic getaway. Like, I should have known. Who would even want him at a leadership conference? He's a freaking loser. Oh, but this business trip he left for today, it's luxurious. It is a spa vacation with couples massages and cooking classes and monogrammed robes from Etsy. He always told me he thought monograms were tacky, but I guess people change. And has this man ever taken me to a spa? No. The most romantic place we've been to in the last year is a Buffalo Wild Wings. And listen, I love Buffalo Wild Wings, but they do not offer couples massages. So when I found this out last month, I was hurt, devastated, angry, all of the feelings that you feel. But I kept it together and I didn't say anything because if that man's gonna cheat on me, I'm gonna get my revenge. For the past month, I have been my husband's idea of the perfect wife. Betty Crocker who? I was making a new pastry every single day, okay? Honestly, I've gotten really good. I should start a little bakery or something. I was doting over him like he wasn't a lying, cheating loser. But today's the day. Today he left for his work trip and the month I put into biting my tongue, it's gonna pay off. My flight leaves in a few hours because I booked a room at the same romantic resort as they're in. I mean, I have to get used to that joint bank account before the divorce. Buckle up, because here's the plan. I found the itinerary of what my husband and his mistress are going to be doing on the trip. So at a time when they're getting a couples massage or doing something where they're going to be out of the room for a while, I'm going to go to the concierge and say that I need an extra key to me and my husband's hotel room. Now, I literally have a credit card with his name on it, so I don't think it's going to be an issue getting an extra key. Then I'm going to go into their room and I'm going to use the month's worth of evidence I've compiled, which includes credit card receipts, photos, emails, everything. And I'm going to tape them all around the hotel room. And right in the middle, I'm going to tape up the divorce papers that I've already signed. Right next to them, his mistress's husband's divorce paper that he signed. Now, he didn't want to go all the way to the resort with me, but he was in on it. I'm also going to tape up the cheating clause that's in our prenup because I'm going to remind him that he just lost a lot of money. And then the next day, little do they know, we're all doing group yoga together. I love having his itinerary. This man has underestimated me for the last time, and he's about to pay for my entire spa retreat.